This is Solo P1. Welcome to the F1 Dutch GP qualifying live reaction. This is my live reaction. Let's face it, if you follow Formula One like me, you knew what was going to happen. But even though you think that you know what's going to happen, you still think maybe it's going to be different. Maybe somebody else is going to get pole. Maybe Max Verstappen's going to fall off and smash his car into the barrier or onto the stones. Maybe. Not hurt himself, but basically out of the qualifying. Maybe. But it didn't happen. Did it? It didn't happen. We had rain about 3 or 4 times. We had about 5 red cards. Not just in the Formula 1 session, in the Formula 2 session as well. We had red cards, yellow flags, stripe flags. I saw a man in the crowd drinking some tea, having a big sausage roll, biggest sausage roll I've ever seen in my entire life, eating it on TV. But it is what it is. This is what you see in Formula 1. It's live. But you would think maybe Lando will get pole. Maybe Oscar Piastri will get pole. Maybe. But it didn't happen, did it? But as always, through the entire weekend, you got the commentator saying, Max this, Max this, Max that, Max that. For the entire weekend, especially Carew, his biggest cheerleader. Carew, who's took over from Paul di Resta. Now, if you know who Paul di Resta was, he was there, I think, last year. Then Sky sacked him because he favoured Max Verstappen too much. They say that he had stuff to do, but really he got sacked. Let's get real. He got sacked. But Carew, basically, Carew is the new Paul di Resta. That's what he is, the new Paul di Resta. Now, I'm not stupid. I came into this session thinking, yeah, Max will probably win it. But when you start seeing rain and you start seeing people going out, like Lewis Hamilton going out in Q2, he only barely made it through to Q1. Listen, he barely got out of Q1. He got into Q2. He kept starting late. Put his tyres. He said he had no grip in his tyres. He was using the intermediate at the end of Q2 where he should have been using maybe the slicks. But he said he stayed on the same tyres and then he had no grip. That's what he said. So Lewis Hamilton was out of Q2. He's going to be starting 13th tomorrow. Unlucky 13 for some. My favourite number, by the way. 13. It's been lucky for me. But there's nothing really to talk about. If you go back and watch all my reviews of the live reaction with qualifying, live reaction of race day, they sound similar. Max pole, Max win. Red Bull are going to win every single race this season. Every single race. Now, I said a few months ago, maybe they'll lose a few more here and there. They might lose 1 or 2, no more. But I never thought, when it came before Silverstone, I think it was Baku. When Baku came around, I thought, nah, I don't think they're going to win every single race. I think they might. The one where they might not win is probably Monaco, or if we're at a race, or maybe Silverstone, or if we're at a race, yeah, the rain will interfere, and then it will just wreck stuff. But it hasn't worked. The rain stopped at the perfect time for Max Verstappen at his home Grand Prix. The rain stopped at the perfect time. Now people are gonna say, "Oh yeah, it is what it is." Yeah, it is what it is. It is what it is. But at least when Mercedes were dominating, they didn't win every single race. They will win every single race. I was wrong. I came out of my YouTube channel earlier, and I told you I'm right. Look, when I say something, and if I'm wrong, I'll come out and I'll say it, and I'll put my hands up and say I'm wrong. I'm not one of these social media geezers on YouTube that don't like to admit it. You don't need to clip me. I admit it every time. If I'm wrong, I'll come out and say it. Because I don't care. That's just the way I am. That's how I feel. I do not care. If I'm wrong, I'll come out and say they will win every single race this year. Every single race. TOTO can come out and says, I got a new rear wing, I got new suspension, I got a new underfloor. It don't matter. I don't care how fast your car can go. You're not going to win a race this year. It's not going to happen. We all know the teams at this stage of the season, all the teams that are working on 2024's car, that's just the way it is. That's just the way it is. I do not care about this season. They will not win no race. The only way that anyone's going to win a race over Red Bull, I would say Max Verstappen, because Perez is basically being paid to stay behind Max Verstappen. That's in his contract, by the way. That's in Perez's contract, by the way. It's in Perez's contract to stay behind Max Verstappen. If you do not believe that, you're a geek. Very simple. Very simple. Now, I'm looking at these sessions, I'm thinking, look, I don't know what the next race is. Actually, I don't even care what the next race is. The only way that Max Verstappen is not going to win a race this year, right, if he has a DNF. That's it. If he has a DNF. That's the only way he's not going to win a race, if he has a DNF. And even if he does have a DNF, the commentators will spin it and say, to me, Max won all the races. We know he would have won that race if he wouldn't have had a DNF. But if it was Lewis Hamilton, I remember Lewis Hamilton back in his day when he was winning a lot of races and winning a lot of qualifying, they said he's only doing it because he's got the fastest car. These geeks are coming out and saying Max is winning it because of Max Verstappen, nothing to do with the car. They're saying, look at Checo. They're using Checo as an example. Checo is being paid to stay behind Max Verstappen. Very simple. Very simple. I saw him get interviewed I saw him get interviewed yesterday. They showed a little bit on TV. He was getting interviewed, and the commentator says, "Why have you fell so far behind Max Verstappen?" What is we changed your setups? We've done all that. We tinkered with it. No, you didn't change your setups. It's in your contract, basically, to stay behind Max Verstappen. Max Verstappen gets priority over everybody. Very simple. Very simple. We all know this. But that's just done for the media, for the papers, for everybody to look at and go, oh, look, Checo said he's tried. For the newcomers of Formula One, the ones that don't know nothing about Formula One, the ones that watched Drive to Survive 2-3 years ago and they think they can come on my channel and tell me about Formula One. Not going to happen, bro. Not going to happen. You can say what you want on Twitter. You can say what you want in the comment section. I'm right, you're wrong. Very simple. Don't care. That's how I feel. Well, I'm gonna get into this Grand Prix. I wanna run over practice a little bit. Let me just put my fan on, man, because I'm just so hot. Let me just go through these sessions now. I'm gonna go through the practice session. I'm gonna whack it up there. I'm gonna whack this room up there. Put that up there. There you go. Now, basically, it all started at the beginning of the weekend. The practice one, most of them was running a new wing. It was called a beam wing. I'll talk about this more on the debrief when I do the debrief on Monday. It was running a beam wing. By the way, I did say before summer break that I weren't going to do qualifying sessions. I was going to do just the live watch-alongs, and then on Sunday I was going to do the weekend wrap-up. But because there's no football today, the football's tomorrow, I'm going to do a qualifying session. So I'm going to keep working for you guys, man. I'm going to keep working for you. Just all you're gonna do is hit the subscribe button, hit the like button for funny F1 content, for real F1 content, not someone who's gonna kiss ass. Hit the subscribe and smash the like. That's it. Very simple. Basically, at the beginning of the weekend, they were saying that Nico Rosberg and Magnussen is signing a new 1-year contract with Haas. Fair enough. Nico Rosberg, I don't think he should have came back to Formula 1. I believe that should have gave Mick Schumacher another chance. I think Mick Schumacher should have had a year at Haas. But Gunther Steiner's excuse was, what was the excuse for Gunther Steiner? The reason why I want Mick Schumacher to go is because he crashes the car too much. Crashes the car too much. Did you remember Roman Grosjean? How many times did Roman Grosjean crash the car? Every race, and he still got contracts. But for some reason, they let Schumacher go. But I think Schumacher's going to be back at Formula 1 next year. I believe, in my opinion, it's not. There's no rumours going around. I'm just going to give you my personal opinion. I think that Mick Schumacher is going to be back in that Williams in Formula 1 next year in the Williams car. I think he's going to be driving for Williams. That's my opinion. So this weekend, Stroll was having problems with his car. Everyone this weekend is running a new wing called the Beam Wing. It's called the Beam Wing. I ain't got a clue what the Beam Wing. I need to do more research on it. But they just mentioned it. They went over it briefly. They didn't really go into detail. They just said they're running a new Beam Wing. So Lewis Hamilton was on a flyer in practice 1. Sector 1, Sector 2 was the fastest. I thought, oh wait, maybe Lewis Hamilton and maybe Mercedes have got new parts, and finally, they're gonna start winning some races. This was just in practice 1, by the way. This was yesterday. By the way. So all of a sudden, who comes off the track? As always, Nico Hülkenberg. So there you go, Haas. There's your new contract. Give him another contract, another year, but he takes your car off the track like he always does. So I don't know what that was about. Gunther Steiner. You know what? I'm not even going to go there. So Lewis Hamilton on the flyer, turn 13. Hülkenberg came off. It was a front right plate. Hamilton was up again on Perez, currently in the quickies in practice 2. And yeah, and that's what happened. The practice 2 started. No, that was practice 1. Practice 2 started 40 minutes. Oscar crashes the car on the bend of sector 1. No, it was basically, you know, that bend one. I think it is sector 3 or 4. I don't know which one it is on the Dutch GP. I don't even like this track. Not just because it's Max Verstappen. I just don't like the track. It reminds me of Monaco. And everybody knows, if you know me, I hate Monaco. And this is what this reminds me of. Another track I don't like as well is Mexico. I don't like Mexico as it either. Them 3 tracks I dislike the most. So and Baku. So basically, in the car came off. Oscar Piastri's car came off, and then Daniel Ricciardo kind of, because it was on a blind bend, you couldn't really see. He just hit the bend, braked it. He braked as quick as he could. It weren't Daniel Ricciardo's fault. He smashed his car into the barrier and he smacked up his hand. And that's Daniel Ricciardo. He's got replaced by some driver. I don't even know what the guy's name is. I saw him today. I forgot his name. He must have been a second driver or something, but he's replaced Dan Ricciardo. He's hurt his arm. I saw his arm in plaster today. I feel sorry for Daniel Ricciardo, to be fair. He come back into Formula 1. And everybody knows he's made the wrong decisions, Daniel Ricciardo. Everybody knows he's made the wrong decisions regarding moving teams. He went to Renault. He went to McLaren, got his arse handed to him by by Lando Norris, and now he's come back with his back to the Red Bull family, as he says, the Red Bull family. But he was coming back and basically crashed his car a little bit and he smacked his arm up. It looks like he's lost a bit of his reflexes, but that's understandable when you've been out of Formula 1. He was out of Formula 1 for 7-8 months. See, but people are going to turn around and say, oh yeah, but Alonso was out for 2 years. Yeah, Alonso was out for 2 years, but when Alonso was out for 2 years, he done Le Mans and he done Bugatti, he done loads of other races, so he kept sharp. And he done IndyCar as well, Indy 500, so he kept sharp. This is why when Alonso came back to Formula 1, he never lost it. Big up Bajan Barnes. Big up. So, let me just get that up there. Yeah, so basic practice, he crashed his car, he was out. They managed to get the cars off the grass He was into the side area, so it didn't really stop the session that much. The average gap between qualifying, they said this on the commentators, so when qualifying started, the average gap between the cars will be 3.5 seconds. 3.5 seconds is going to be the average gap, so that really, the drivers, they prefer around about 5 to 6, but they got 3.5 seconds, so it is what it is. So, qualifying, so I'm going to get into qualifying now. That was the end of practice. Let me just bring this chat room up on the, So we're going to get into qualifying. It started to rain because in the Formula 2 session, the Formula 2 session got cancelled. The Formula 2 session got cancelled. There was rain, there was a crash, the car got on top of each other. There was 2 cars. There was 3 cars that crashed, but 1 car landed on top of each other. They had to repair the techno barrier. It was delayed for a while, and I thought to myself, something's going to happen. And there was a big delay, and so there was no Formula 2. So they ended that session. Formula 1 started. The Formula 1 came in. Everyone was doing the average times. They was all on slicks. I mean, they was all on intermediates. So basically, they couldn't really do nothing about it because of the intermediate tyres. Let me just get this chat room up. Let's get this chat room up. Sorry, guys. Yeah, so we had to do the intermediate tyres, basically. Intermediate tyres. So the session wasn't starting off good at all. At all. I'm just fixing his chat room so I could speak if I don't want to speak. Oh, it doesn't matter, let's just take it off. So basically, the intermediate tyres, everyone was on intermediate tyres for the practice and for qualifying 1 and qualifying 2. Hamilton just about got through qualifying 1. I think he finished 8th or 9th. He just scraped through. But Hamilton was refusing to change his tyres. They went with a strategy. Mercedes went with a strategy to say, okay then, I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to go with the medium tyres. Now we're going to go with the wet tyres and we're going to stay on the same tyres. So if we get to Q3, we're going to have more to change over to try and get more grip. But little does Mercedes know, Mercedes, the Q3 was dry. So they was thinking, if we stay on the same intermediate tyres, when it gets to Q3, we'll have more tyres to swap over. Because a lot of the other teams were coming in and changing the intermediate tyres. I don't think Russell did, but Mercedes, I mean with Hamilton's team, they kept him out on the same tyres. This is what I'm talking about sometimes. Mercedes' strategy can go out the window sometimes. It can go out the window. And I was shocked. Actually, come to think of it, I wasn't shocked. Because Mercedes have dropped a few blunders this year. But again, they let Lewis Hamilton down, but what really got me mad is when Hamilton went out of Q2, when he was on his last lap of Q2, he just went into the pits. I don't understand why he didn't just finish the lap. You never know what would have happened. He could have gained a little bit more time on that last sector, but he never. He went straight into the pits. A bit like what he done in I think it was 2019 or 2020, when he went into the pits. I think it was at Imola. No, not Imola, at Monza. He done a similar thing when he lost out to Bottas. And I think it was Bottas. And then he came into the pits and he didn't even finish his lap. So Hamilton's going to be 13th tomorrow. 13th. Good luck with that, with this track. Good luck with that tomorrow, Hamilton, with this track, because you can't overtake. It is absolutely nearly impossible to overtake at the Dutch GP. So you need to speak to your team and sort out the strategy, because your strategy today was horrendous, unbelievable. The way the strategy planned out today for Hamilton and Mercedes. But the finish today was Max Verstappen. Max Verstappen got pole. Second was Lando, and third was George Russell. George Russell could have got third. Hamilton yesterday at practice session, he was the fastest in practice 2, and he was nearly the fastest in practice 1. But today, the rain, every time the rain kicks in, right, something happens to Lewis's car every time this season. But it is what it is. We all knew probably that Max Verstappen was going to win, get qualifying anyway. I would have just liked to saw Hamilton in the top 3. Now he's going to be in 13th, right? And he's going to be at a track where it's very hard to overtake. Very hard to overtake. And he's 13th, so he's kind of like in the middle of the pack. And that's where the crashes happen at the beginning. If you're in the middle of the track, if you got the drivers on the grid, and if you're in the middle, most likely you're going to get crashed into. That's where the crashes happen. Especially on that first corner at Zandvoort. It's so tight and it turns round. You always get crashes there. So it is what it is, man. Lewis Hamilton is out of Q2. Done. So he's going to start tomorrow at P13. And he's going to come out tomorrow. He's going to be all positive. He's going to say, yeah, a day is another day. But I'm still going to back him. He's you know what I mean? I'm still going to back Lewis. I'll back him all the way. But when Mercedes do something wrong, I will come out and say that Mercedes has done something wrong. I'm not going to sit here. I am not going to sit here and kiss Mercedes' ass, even when they do something wrong. Not going to do it. There's a lot of content creators out there that will kiss Mercedes' ass, kiss Lewis Hamilton's ass. They will kiss their ass no matter what. You've got to call it out sometimes, bro. You've got to call it out. When they do something wrong, you have to call it out. Very simple. When they do something right, obviously you cheer, but when they do something wrong, you have to call it out, because if you don't call it out, then you're just a fraud. You're just a fanboy. And that's not me. That is not me. I will call out, when they do something wrong, I will call them out. Big up to Beige and Reds in the chat room. I'm trying to get this chat room up, you know. Hold on, give me a second. Where the window, thingy window. But anyway, yeah, that's the end of the review, man. That's the qualifying thing finished. Nothing more to say now, really. It is what it is. It's over, man. That's it. The session's over. It's going to be race day tomorrow. Smash that like button, guys. Smash it up. Big up to Derek Tate. Big up to Beige and Barnes. Thanks for joining this session today. I've tried to get the chat room up. Yeah, I like your emoji, by the way. Oh, yeah, I like your emoji. Let me just get this up on there. Just give me a second. Gotta get the chat. Where's the chat room gone, man? Yeah, let's see if I can get the chat room up. There you go. There's the chat room there. There you go. Big up Beige and Barnes. Big up Beige and Barnes for joining the session today. It is what it is, man. It is what it is. Thank you, Derek. I love your little emoji there with the Mercedes sign and the flag. Love it, man. Big up. Thanks for joining me on this live session. It was just a horrible session, really. We had flag after flag. That's it, man. Red flag after red flag after red flag after red flag. That's it. Done, man. So that's the end of the session. That's the end of qualifying. I mean, end of qualifying session. I think the race tomorrow is going to, I hope we start at the same time as the Liverpool game. I think it's going to be early. I'm going to check that. I'll get the finish off. The standings haven't finished. Just going to say it out before I head off. Let's get the standings. So they're finished. Qualifying results. So we had today, Max Verstappen got pole. Lando Norris got 2. George Russell with 3. 4th, Alexander Albon. 5th place. Alonso 6th place, Carlos Sainz 7th place, Sergio Perez 8th place, Oscar Piastri 9th place, Charles Leclerc 10th place, Logan Sargent. Logan Sargent, by the way, first time in Q3, well done. Mercedes and Pierre Gasly 12th, no, Lance Stroll 11th, Pierre Gasly 12th, Lewis Hamilton's going to be 13th. It's going to be difficult for Lewis Hamilton to go through that pack. You got some good drivers there in front of him. He'll get past Pierre Gasly, he'll get past Stroll, he'll get past Logan Sargent. Charles Leclerc will probably charge on. Oscar Piastri is going to be difficult to get past. Alonso is going to be nearly impossible to get past. It's going to be hard for him tomorrow because it's his track. If it was Silverstone, if this was Silverstone and Hamilton was 13th, I put Hamilton to get in the top 3 easy. But it ain't Silverstone, it's Zandvoort. And Zandvoort, the Dutch GP, is very hard to overtake. It's like Monaco, it's very, very difficult. So pole position is key here. Is key. 14th place, Yuki Tsunoda. 15th place, Nico Hülkenberg. 16th place, Juan Yu 17th place, Esteban Ocon. 18th place, Kevin Magnussen. 19th place, Valtteri Bottas. And 20th place, Liam Lawson. That's the guy who's replacing Daniel Ricciardo, Liam Lawson, because Daniel Ricciardo hurt his hand in practice session yesterday, and now he's all bandaged up. They haven't said how long he's going to be out, but he's going to be out probably I'd say probably a couple of weeks, maybe. Maybe, I don't know the extent of his injury. Maybe it's a sprain, I don't know. If he's fractured it, obviously he'll probably be out for the rest of the year. But it's a shame for Dan Ricciardo, just come back into Formula One as well. Is what it is. So Liam Lawson is last at AlphaTauri. And that's the end of the session, man. So tomorrow, the race is going to start tomorrow. What time does the race start? Hopefully it's not the same time as the football. 2 o'clock. So it's going to be tight. So the race is going to start at 2 o'clock. The race will start at 2 o'clock. That means as soon as the race starts, it'll be about an hour. Maybe if there's any safety cars or any session stopping, the max it will go for is an hour and a half. So if we get an hour and a half, as soon as I finish the stream, doing the watch along of the F1, the 1 hour and a half, I'll turn my stream off, put my football thing on there, and we'll go from there. So I think we're going to be all right. So tomorrow we've got the race day live watch along, and straight after that is going to be the Liverpool game versus Newcastle. That's tomorrow. So we've got a busy day tomorrow. Let's see what the score is. There we go. Man United's 3-2 now. Gutted. Why couldn't Forest just hang in there, man? No. Why couldn't Forest just hang in there? Gutted. You know. Anyway. Man United, yeah, whatever. So tomorrow I'm gonna be off now. Thanks for Beijing Barnes for joining. Solo, you have to watch the Beijing kid in F2s and the Molini quality driver. Yeah, I think I've seen him, you know, bro. I watched the Formula 2 today, but he got cancelled. They had a few guys on. They had a few guys on there. Yeah. There was 2 big crashes, and I stopped the session. I'll look out for him now, bro. Zaina Maloney, yeah, big up, man. I'm gonna look out for him. At least one of them got through again. Lewis got through now. Him. So anyway. Big up, guys. Thank you, Beijing Barnes. Share the video, like the video, subscribe. Thank you, Derek Tate. Thank you, Beijing Barnes. See you later, guys. Big up. Bye.